What if everything you thought you knew about the British royal family was about to change forever? While the world's cameras were focused on Donald Trump's state visit to the United Kingdom, something extraordinary was happening behind the gilded doors of Buckingham Palace. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has just made a declaration that could fundamentally alter the course of the British monarchy for generations to come. King Charles has delivered his second major constitutional address this month, and the timing couldn't be more significant. We're not just talking about royal protocol here. We're talking about a seismic shift in how the crown operates, all happening in the shadow of what palace insiders are quietly calling the Camilla Crisis. By the end of this video, you'll understand why constitutional experts are calling this the most significant royal development since the 1936 abdication crisis. Stay with me, because what's unfolding right now will reshape everything we understand about royal succession, constitutional law, and the future of the British throne. To truly grasp the magnitude of what's happening within the royal household today, we need to journey back to one of the most tumultuous periods in modern British history, the constitutional crisis of 1936. When King Edward V made the unprecedented decision to abdicate the throne for Wallace Simpson, he didn't just give up his crown. He fundamentally altered the constitutional framework that governs the British monarchy to this very day. The Regency Act of 1937, hastily drafted in the aftermath of the abdication crisis, established specific protocols and legal frameworks that are now being tested in ways its original architects could never have imagined. The distinction between Queen Consort and Queen Regnant isn't merely ceremonial semantics, it carries profound legal and constitutional implications that extend far beyond the palace walls. A Queen Regnant, like Elizabeth E, rules in her own right with full sovereign powers. A Queen Consort, traditionally the wife of a reigning king, holds a position that's both significant and constitutionally complex. What makes Catherine's recent declaration so extraordinary is that it represents a fundamental shift in how the royal family approaches succession planning and constitutional preparation. The current constitutional framework operates under assumptions that were established nearly a century ago, when the royal family faced very different challenges and operated in a vastly different political landscape. The Councillors of State provisions, established under the Regency Act, designate specific members of the royal family who can carry out constitutional duties when the monarch is unable to do so. These provisions have been quietly tested and expanded in recent years, particularly as questions about royal health and succession planning have become more pressing. Catherine's declaration to prepare for Queen Consort responsibilities isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a carefully orchestrated constitutional evolution that takes into account modern realities while respecting historical precedents. The royal household has learned from the constitutional chaos of 1936 and is determined not to repeat the mistakes that led to that unprecedented crisis. What we're witnessing today is the monarchy proactively adapting to ensure constitutional continuity, regardless of what the future might hold. The timing and content of King Charles2nd major address this month reveal a level of constitutional strategy that most observers have completely overlooked. While the media focused on the ceremonial aspects of his speech, constitutional scholars have identified three key elements that signal a fundamental shift in royal planning and preparation. This wasn't simply another royal address. It was a carefully crafted constitutional positioning statement that lays the groundwork for significant changes in how the monarchy operates. The king's emphasis on continuity and preparation represents more than standard royal rhetoric. This specific phrase hasn't appeared in a major royal address since Queen Elizabeth I's Diamond Jubilee celebrations, and its reintroduction now carries deep constitutional significance. When monarchs speak of continuity, they're not just referring to traditions and ceremonies. They're addressing the fundamental stability of the constitutional system itself. Charles' use of this language signals that the royal household is actively preparing for multiple succession scenarios, ensuring that the constitutional framework remains stable regardless of future developments. Even more significant was Charles' specific mention of supporting the next generation of service. This wasn't a general reference to younger royals taking on more responsibilities. Constitutional experts recognize this as a direct acknowledgement of William and Catherine's expanded roles within the royal framework. The phrase "next generation of service" has specific meaning within royal constitutional language. It indicates formal preparation for succession and expanded constitutional duties that go far beyond ceremonial appearances. The most telling element of Charles' address was his acknowledgement of evolving responsibilities within the constitutional framework. This language is unprecedented in modern royal speeches. Previous monarchs have spoken about adapting to changing times, but Charles' specific reference to evolving responsibilities within the constitutional framework signals that actual structural changes are being implemented. This isn't about modernizing ceremonies or updating protocols. This is about fundamental changes to how constitutional duties are distributed and executed within the royal family. The strategic timing of this address, delivered during Trump's state visit, amplifies its significance exponentially. State visits represent the monarchy's most visible constitutional role on the international stage. By choosing this moment to deliver such a constitutionally significant speech, Charles is ensuring that international partners and constitutional observers understand that the British monarchy is not just stable, but actively evolving to meet future challenges. This represents a level of constitutional sophistication that surpasses anything we've seen in recent royal history. The situation that palace insiders have dubbed the Camilla Crisis represents one of the most complex constitutional challenges the modern royal family has faced, yet it's been completely misunderstood by mainstream media coverage. This isn't about personal relationships or palace drama. It's about constitutional law, succession planning, and the practical realities of modern monarchy. To understand what's really happening, we need to examine the careful negotiations that surrounded Camilla's position when Charles ascended to the throne. When Charles became king, Camilla's title as Queen Consort was the result of extensive constitutional consultations that took place over many years. The decision wasn't made lightly. It involved detailed analysis of legal precedents, public opinion research, and careful consideration of constitutional implications. However, constitutional experts quietly raised concerns about how this arrangement would function in practice, particularly regarding the Councillors of State provisions that allow designated royal family members to carry out constitutional duties when the monarch is unavailable. The Councillors of State system was designed for a different era, when royal family structures were more straightforward and succession planning followed more predictable patterns. In today's complex royal landscape, with health concerns, expanded international commitments, and changing public expectations, the traditional system faces unprecedented challenges. The crisis isn't that Camilla is unsuitable for her role, it's that the constitutional framework needed updating to accommodate modern realities. Catherine's preparation for Queen Consort responsibilities actually solves this constitutional puzzle in an elegant and forward-thinking way. If Charles were to step back from royal duties due to health concerns or other factors, William would immediately become king, automatically making Catherine the Queen Consort. However, the transition period requires careful legal and constitutional preparation that goes far beyond ceremonial considerations. Catherine is now receiving this preparation, ensuring constitutional continuity regardless of how future scenarios unfold. The genius of this approach lies in its flexibility and thoroughness. Rather than waiting for a crisis to develop, the royal household is proactively preparing for multiple possibilities. This represents a fundamental shift from reactive crisis management to proactive constitutional planning. The royal family has clearly learned from historical examples where inadequate preparation led to constitutional chaos and public uncertainty. What makes this situation particularly sophisticated is how it addresses multiple constitutional challenges simultaneously. Catherine's expanded preparation doesn't just solve potential succession issues, it also strengthens the overall constitutional framework by ensuring that multiple members of the royal family are fully prepared to handle the complex legal and ceremonial duties that modern monarchy requires. This isn't about replacing anyone or managing personal conflicts, it's about building a more resilient and adaptable constitutional system. The decision to make Catherine's declaration and deliver Charles2nd address during Donald Trump's state visit represents a masterclass in constitutional timing and international diplomacy. State visits are among the most significant constitutional events in the royal calendar, serving as crucial demonstrations of the monarchy's role in international relations and diplomatic protocol. The timing of these announcements during Trump's visit isn't coincidental. It's a carefully calculated demonstration of royal stability and forward-thinking governance. International observers pay particularly close attention to royal protocol during state visits, as these events provide crucial insights into the monarchy's constitutional health and future planning. By choosing this moment to signal significant constitutional developments, the royal household is ensuring that international partners understand that the British monarchy isn't just maintaining stability, it's actively evolving to meet future challenges while preserving constitutional integrity. Trump's previous interactions with the royal family have been closely scrutinized by constitutional historians and diplomatic experts. His unconventional approach to protocol and his personal relationships with various royal family members have created unique precedents that future administrations will likely reference. Catherine's expanded constitutional preparation ensures that these diplomatic relationships can continue seamlessly, regardless of future succession scenarios or changes in royal responsibilities. The constitutional significance extends beyond individual relationships to encompass broader questions about how modern monarchies interact with democratic governments. The British royal family's ability to maintain stable diplomatic relationships while undergoing internal constitutional evolution demonstrates a level of institutional sophistication that enhances Britain's international standing. Catherine's preparation for expanded duties signals to international partners that the British constitutional system is robust enough to handle change while maintaining the stability that makes it valuable in international relations. From a practical diplomatic standpoint, Catherine's enhanced constitutional preparation means that she can now participate in state functions with the full authority and protocol recognition that comes with her potential future role. This eliminates any uncertainty about protocol or authority that might arise in diplomatic situations. international partners can interact with confidence, knowing that the constitutional framework supporting these relationships is both stable and well prepared for future developments. The broader implications for the Commonwealth realms are equally significant. These nations, which recognize the British monarch as their head of state, require absolute certainty about succession and constitutional continuity. Catherine's preparation demonstrates that the royal household is thinking systematically about these international responsibilities, ensuring that Commonwealth relationships remain stable and well supported regardless of future constitutional changes. What we're witnessing represents nothing less than the real-time evolution of one of the world's oldest constitutional systems. The British monarchy's ability to adapt while maintaining core constitutional principles provides a fascinating case study in institutional resilience and forward-thinking governance. Catherine's declaration and the broader constitutional preparations taking place within the royal household demonstrate how traditional institutions can embrace change without sacrificing their fundamental character or constitutional integrity. The sophistication of this constitutional evolution becomes clear when we examine how it addresses multiple challenges simultaneously. Rather than simply responding to immediate pressures or crises, the royal household is implementing changes that strengthen the constitutional framework for decades to come. This represents a level of institutional planning that goes far beyond what most observers expect from traditional monarchy. The educational value of studying these constitutional developments cannot be overstated. We're witnessing how constitutional systems adapt to changing circumstances while maintaining their essential character and legal foundation. The careful balance between innovation and tradition that the royal household is achieving provides valuable lessons for constitutional scholars and governance experts worldwide. Catherine's role in this constitutional evolution particularly demonstrates how individual preparation and institutional planning can work together to strengthen overall governance systems. Her commitment to understanding and preparing for expanded constitutional duties reflects a modern approach to royal service that combines traditional respect for constitutional law with contemporary understanding of governance challenges. The implications extend far beyond the royal family itself to encompass broader questions about how democratic societies maintain constitutional stability while adapting to changing circumstances. The British monarchy's current evolution provides a practical example of how institutions can embrace necessary changes without compromising their constitutional foundations or public legitimacy. The current constitutional developments within the royal household gain additional significance when viewed against the backdrop of historical precedents and their modern applications. The 1936 abdication crisis taught the monarchy crucial lessons about the importance of constitutional preparation and the dangers of inadequate succession planning. These lessons are clearly being applied in today's careful and comprehensive approach to constitutional evolution. The contrast between the hasty, reactive responses of 1936 and today's proactive, systematic planning demonstrates how institutions can learn from historical challenges and develop more sophisticated approaches to governance. The royal household's current constitutional preparations represent the application of nearly a century of institutional learning about how to manage change while maintaining stability. Queen Elizabeth's reign provided numerous examples of how constitutional adaptation could be managed gradually and carefully, without creating unnecessary disruption or uncertainty. The current developments build on this foundation while addressing challenges that Elizabeth's generation could not have anticipated. Catherine's preparation for expanded duties represents a continuation of this tradition of careful constitutional stewardship. The international precedents for constitutional monarchy evolution also inform current developments. Other modern monarchies have faced similar challenges in adapting traditional roles to contemporary requirements, and the British royal family has clearly studied these experiences in developing their own approach to constitutional change. The legal framework supporting these developments demonstrates how constitutional law can evolve without requiring dramatic legislative changes. The careful use of existing provisions within the Regency Act and other constitutional documents shows how traditional legal frameworks can accommodate modern requirements through thoughtful interpretation and application. The long-term implications of Catherine's declaration and the broader constitutional developments taking place within the royal household extend far beyond immediate succession planning. These changes are laying the foundation for how the British monarchy will operate for generations to come, creating precedents that will guide future royal families and constitutional developments. The educational and cultural impact of these developments cannot be overlooked. Catherine's approach to constitutional preparation demonstrates a modern understanding of royal service that combines respect for tradition with contemporary governance expertise. This model provides valuable guidance for future generations of royals while also offering insights for other constitutional systems worldwide. The strengthening of the constitutional framework through these developments enhances the overall stability and effectiveness of the British governmental system. By ensuring that royal constitutional duties can be carried out effectively regardless of future circumstances, these preparations contribute to broader governmental continuity and public confidence. The The international implications continue to evolve as other nations observe and learn from the British approach to constitutional monarchy adaptation. The successful management of these constitutional changes enhances Britain's soft power and diplomatic influence while providing practical examples for other nations facing similar institutional challenges. Catherine's declaration to prepare for Queen Consort responsibilities, combined with King Charles' strategic constitutional positioning and the sophisticated management of what outsiders call the Camilla Crisis, represents one of the most significant constitutional developments in modern royal history. We're not just witnessing routine royal protocol adjustments. We're seeing the real-time evolution of constitutional monarchy for the 21st century. The timing of these developments during Trump's state visit demonstrates the royal household's sophisticated understanding of international relations and constitutional diplomacy. Rather than managing crises reactively, the monarchy is proactively building systems and preparing individuals to ensure constitutional continuity and effectiveness for decades to come. This isn't about personal ambitions or palace intrigue, it's about institutional responsibility and constitutional stewardship at the highest level. Catherine's commitment to constitutional preparation, Charles' strategic leadership during this transition, and the careful management of complex succession planning demonstrate how traditional institutions can embrace necessary evolution while maintaining their essential character and public service mission. The lessons emerging from these developments extend far beyond the royal family to encompass broader questions about governance, institutional adaptation, and constitutional stewardship. We're witnessing a masterclass in how traditional institutions can remain relevant and effective while honoring their historical foundations and constitutional responsibilities. What do you think about this unprecedented constitutional evolution? Are we seeing the monarchy successfully adapt for the modern era? Or do these changes represent something even more significant? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis of royal constitutional developments. Next week, we'll explore how William's recent diplomatic initiatives are preparing him for kingship in ways that might fundamentally change how we understand modern monarchy.